Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the channel. You're gonna join me this morning here. We had a little bit of snow last night, so we're gonna run a little snow test here on FSD. So our newer version here that we got the other day, version 14.2.1. So just dropped my kid off at school. He had a 2-hour delay. Gonna head up to work um, and see kind of. Whoa, that's not good. So there's a little. So if I would have gone forward, I would have gone right into a. Let's see if I can do it that way. There we go. So it was going to go forward, which would have been to a curb and over some rocks. So we're going to try to see how it navigates out of the school's parking lot here. Especially it's busy right now, and this parking lot's been plowed, but the main street has not. So, but it's going to be it's going the right way. And so I might have to take over here though, at one point, because this is a one-way out, and it's going the right way at least. So it's going to be a challenge to probably get out of this parking lot. The school drop off right now. So yeah, little guy's school had a 2-hour delay this morning because of the snow that we got, and we are this is probably a really good test here of trying to get moving right, because it's the time we can drop all the kids off here at school after the delay. And so we're trying to see how FSD here can handle this as cars are coming in. And it creates 2 lanes basically, so I'm wondering if it's seeing that yet. Pardon me, I might give it a little bit of encouragement on the accelerator. So just a couple little taps there. So yeah, this should be a challenge for it, because the lane over there to the right is for drop off, and this is a pass through lane. You got crossing guards and the whole business here trying to get out of here. But yeah, so we have version 14.2.1. Got it on, what would be that, Friday night. Friday night I got it installed, so we were actually road tripping out to back from California. So all last week for Thanksgiving, we were out in Southern California in Anaheim, out at Disneyland. I was going to make some videos on that drive, but didn't really get around to doing too much, so was able to get some videos, or a recording of the drive from Grand Junction to Denver. So I put out a video, that's really a 4-hour drive, condensed that into a 45-minute little clip. Then looked at driving through Glenwood Canyon and stuff like that. So I have a couple more I'll come out of that as well. But so that's really what I did. But I got the 14.2.1 update Friday night when we were in Cedar City, Utah. So got to our hotel to stay the night after our drive. Got it downloaded from there, and then was able to experience 14.2.1. See if it goes the right way. It should. Yeah. On the drive from Cedar City back to Colorado Springs, where we live. So that was kind of nice. So we could go straight, but it's going to go this way, which is probably smarter, because still that's more of drop off too. To try to get out of this school parking lot. But the local roads around here, that was a good reaction time there. Car backing out. So it was going to go, but it's something I gave my hand gesture for it to go. So busy parking lot. Some of the streets still a little snow packed and wet. So slushy and things like that after this morning. So this is just this isn't a really the best necessarily scenario for driving in snow with full self driving. But it'll give you a good idea. I have some videos from version 13 last year when there was a lot of snow, and it did great during those times as well. So we're really just going to try to see how this goes. There we go. So that's how we got out of the parking lot, or starting to. Comes a complete stops. And there's pedestrian traffic obviously right now with school crossing guards that we saw. And here we go. So streets are starting to melt, which is good. Um, our route will take us. I had it going my normal way, so I might have to disengage to get us going on that route, or if I end the trip. Let me try to go to work again. I want to go that way. Okay. And I had chosen that before I started recording, and then it defaulted back. Um, the one route likes to take me all the way down to the interstate, and then up the interstate versus just cutting up. Sure, there's traffic, but that's what I want to. It's kind of what I want to test. So hopefully it'll stick with my route and not try to change. But so kind of snow-covered roads, slushy roads in the neighborhood, with FSD going on right now. And again, school drop off after a 2-hour delay. So we're just playing that game right now. Not sure what those cars are doing. But more snow packed here. Like I said, and under version 13, full self-driving did really good with driving on snow. So like I said, if you go back in my channel, I have a lot of videos from last year about that drive. And so now, real first chance to get version 14 out on the snow. Again, from slightly snow packed to slushy to ice, so a little bit here and there that we can see. What I might do too is I might take a straight. We'll see, maybe not. But again, busy in the neighborhood right now because school drop off just happened, especially after the 2-hour delay start that they had. It's the only school district in town. I work at a school as well, so that's where I'm headed. But I did not have a delayed start, but I still had to stay home with the little guy to make sure he can get to school. But let's see here. If I go to autopilot, some of the new stuff on version 14.2, my self-driving stats. So 100% has been on self-driving, so close to 100%. 663.5 miles out of 664.5 miles, so 1 mile of not self-driving. And that's a few little things that I had to do, especially on the trip home. So like I said, on Saturday, we were driving home from Cedar City, Utah to Colorado Springs. So through Utah, through the mountains of Colorado. There was a couple times that the superchargers, I not necessarily the best parking lots in those parts of like Utah, so I had to get taken over. I put out a quick little video. We were in Rifle, Colorado, navigating to the supercharger there to get charged up, and it's in the parking lot of a Sonic drive or the Sonic fast food restaurant. And so it turned into the Sonic and actually started trying to pull into one of the little pull-up stalls at a Sonic instead of going around the building to the supercharger. Because typically, and it did it on our trip a lot, it's able to pull our way up to the supercharger, back in on its own into the supercharger. So that one apparently thought we needed some lunch, which we did not at that point. We had already eaten lunch, but it so I had to take it over, get it around to the other side, back it into the supercharger. So there's some instances. So still 100% of being on full self-driving as well. So really, like I said, less than just about a mile of it not being done, but almost all of it being done on full self-driving. And so again, that was basically 600. I haven't driven it since we got home, so 660 plus miles of driving on full self-driving, which is pretty awesome. So roads are wet, so starting to really thaw out at this point from the snow. We are supposed to get another batch of snow on Wednesday, so probably trying to make a video then as well of the drive with it. But this is really my first reaction to 14.2 as well. So like I said, I put out the video, quick time-lapse video of just driving from Grand Junction to Denver on that 4-hour long stretch through I-70 in the mountains of Colorado. So this is going to be really my first reaction to getting the update. And still, like, there's still a few, and here's my thoughts on it. Still a few little things, quirks here and there, in terms of hesitation to change lanes and stuff like that. I think that's been my biggest frustration with version 14. on version 13, it would signal and get over. Especially I do a lot of highway driving from to work, and I never really had too many issues of it changing lanes. But there's been a lot more hesitation with it, and 14.2 hasn't really fixed that much. Um, Not feeling a lot of the brake stabbing, so I think that's pretty much gone. But again, we were also driving on the highway, so this is really, driving through this type of traffic, trying to get to work this morning. It's going to give us a better test, more so than anything. I'm going to clean the windshield real quick. So going through this yellow, which is good because I've had instances where it's just bam slammed on the brakes, so that was good. Probably a new update too is these like 3D buildings you can turn off, turn on. So now you got like kind of the 3D map um, with it as well. If you're looking for that type of stuff, hey, good braking. So one thing about version 14, it's braking so much more earlier than it did on version 13. I'll say that right now. There were some times where it's like, oh, you know, cars braking in front, and like I said, especially driving on, it was great driving on the interstates. So we drove basically I-70 and I-15 down to California for the week. Probably, and here's my thoughts. One of the best road trip cars. We road tripped this summer in um, in a a gas car, my parents' car out to Chicago. We didn't take this car, so we took their Chevy Traverse. So me and my wife drove that whole stretch, from Colorado to Colorado Springs to Chicago and Chicago back in their car. So obviously having to keep your hand on the wheel. I mean, yeah, you got cruise control, which helps, but really paying attention. But this drive from here to Los Angeles was fantastic. I drove that entire time, there and back. My wife didn't have to help me out at all. She offered, but being able to just use full self driving, and it took me where I needed to go. So still paying attention to the road, but not as intense of having your hand on the wheel, um, like you would if you were road tripping a regular car, a gas car. And like I said, a few little instances where it's like, whoa, and it was super weird as we're making this stretch here. Once we got into California, it seemed like there was a lot more quirks with the car, in terms of like thinking there was things in the road, or you know, a lot of hesitation, because prior to that, driving through Colorado and into Utah, it was totally fine. But it was, and then again coming back, driving through California, it was being quirky. And then once like we were out of California, it was totally fine. So I'm not sure if there's something wrong with California in terms of what FSD might think about it. But that was kind of I even told my wife that. I said, it's weird. It's like we're in California, it's being weird. Because it was not being weird in Utah, it was not being weird in Colorado. And the same thing coming home. So roads are not necessarily the best snow test. Roads are just wet, but people still drive pretty stupid in uh, these types of conditions. Ooh, yeah, dirty though. Tell you that. Getting your As I'm cleaning the windshield, right? Camera visibility limited. So I actually got the camera um, area clean before we drove to California. I was getting, obviously, um, it was dirty up there. I was getting a lot of it in the evening and morning hours of service required. So it was free. Took it in. I had to pay for some other stuff. I did a tire rotation, needed that, and a alignment before making that big road trip. But got that clean, and that was a $0 charge. I think that's becoming a big problem right now. So we're about to get onto the interstate here. Haven't come this way in a while. Usually I turn earlier, and ooh, he just U-turned it. So good reaction from the car as he was making that what would be an illegal U-turn. But we've all done it, right? So roads are good at the moment, which is nice. But 14.2 has been good, right? So like I said, some of the, you can look at the release notes, which you've probably done. Let's get those. Come on, there we go. Pulled up, right? So the big thing is basically, as it says, upgrading the neural network vision encoder, leveraging higher resolution features to further improve scenarios like handling emergency vehicles, obstacles on the roads, and human gestures, right? And that'd be the idea of like someone at a crosswalk waving you through or whatever, reacting to seeing humans in a more natural environment, right? And you still got your parking options, right? Parking in a parking lot on the. Oh, as my camera just fell, so there's a fun quirk for you. Um, Sorry about that. So, but that was about the end of it anyway. So just because now we're gonna make this interstate drive, but adding more handling to pull over for emergency vehicles like police cars, fire trucks, ambulances, and stuff. Now I'm getting a lot of rocks hitting the damn windshield as well because we throw sand down in Colorado, which is the worst. Um, so you get little rocks in the sand, for snow. So, but you still have your normal speed profiles as well, from standard from sloth to chill to standard to hurry to Mad Max. Did a little bit of hurry driving um, on our road trip as well, especially as we were on the open road, more so. So, but that's mostly it. So, good little drive out of the neighborhood um, this morning. So now we're on the interstate. Um, doesn't look like I have too much traffic to this. I mean, because now it's like 10 o'clock in the morning, so it shouldn't be too bad getting to work from here. But that's basically where I'm going to stop the video. I'll leave it, run it fast, um, all the way to where I'm headed as well. But if you like what you've seen, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time. I'm back on because I forgot one little thing here. Um, but I can kind of tell right now, right? Speed limit 65. I mean, the conditions are fine right now on the interstate, but that was one of the things too with version 14's updates, especially in your speed profiles, right? Usually I'd be driving about 70 right now. Knowing the weather, knowing the conditions that were out there on the road, that's part of the update as well that the car is seeing, to not necessarily go super fast on your way to wherever you're going, and adhering more to a slower type of speed. I mean, it's dry right now here on the interstate, so it wouldn't be too big of an issue necessarily to be driving faster than we are right now, but it does keep it at a pretty lower speed. We're not changing lane, like we would be passing this bus that's in front of us at this point as well. So, but that just gives it. Sorry, you had to jump back on and give that little 2 cents in terms of what we're seeing. We're all going to take us through this construction area too, because the lane shifts and stuff, and then I'll probably really stop the video there, just to see how we are reacting to things slowing down. Right, speed limit's 55 through the construction, and usually going a lot faster than this um, through this area, but it's being cautious at this moment. again, for conditions. And it could be because it sees there's obviously snow that was on the road that's now melted off to the side, knowing the weather conditions that existed prior as well. Because again, it's a 55, going 52s, going slower. Let's see if I bump it up. So I'm gonna move it to hurry. Now it's gonna go a little bit faster. So now we are gonna make that lane change to get around this bus. So now going 63 in the 55. I'm gonna bust it down to standard. So going 5 over, getting back over. So I guess we could see what Mad Max would do in this condition. So we're gonna do that. So now we're on Mad Max. So it's keeping that lower profile, right? It's not going super, super fast. Um, in these speed modes, especially with the conditions of the road, like I said, yes, it's not too bad right now. Speed limit went back up to 65, and we're going 65 in Mad Max. So, right, road signs still say icy and snow packed. Obviously, the interstate has melted and is starting to dry, but the car is still keeping it traveling at a safe pace and not going crazy, right? So, because we should be going a heck of a lot faster in Mad Max than we are right now. So, but there you have it. So, I'm going to drop us back into standard, keeping us at this pace, and there you go. So, all right. So that's going to be the end of the video. Again, if you like what you've seen, give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next time.